Roses are red, violets are blue. The sky is not blue, sir. Sepupu. Selamat sejahtera dan selamat sepupu-sepupus. Fun development today. 8th Prime Minister of Malaysia, Muhyiddin Yassin, the chairman of Perikatan Nasional, is now Malaysian First. So apparently he was at the Indian Unity Festival at the Midlands Convention Centre, and speaking to an audience of 1,000, he says, "I am a Malay Malaysian, but my thinking has never been to see myself as only Malay. I have to consider the Chinese Indians and others because I am a leader of Malaysia. I used to say I was Malay first. That is no longer important. I am a Malay who cares for all Malaysians." Wow. Amazing.
But why even say this?
So the context is, it was 2010 and Muhyiddin was Najib's DPM. At the time, Najib was full on with his whole One Malaysia thing. So at this time, Lim Kit Siang asked a question like, are you Malay first or are you Malaysian first? And at that time, then Muhyiddin proceeded to answer by saying, how can I say I'm Malaysian first and Malay second? All the Malays will shun me and it's not proper. Wow. Now you might think to yourself that this man has transformed, he has completely had a dark night of the soul. So near now, towards the end of his story, now he has been transformed as a human being and now is ready to go forth with Gerakan as his best friends to pursue liberalism for the 21st century. But whoa. You know, I think this is one of those things where it's like, dengar boleh percaya jangan. It's one of the great jokes of the era. Right now, if you go on past PN seluruh Malaysia, you're not going to find a single person talking about this because people probably realize just how off that single statement is. Even right now, there is a post by Dr. Akmal Saleh talking about how this man will do anything for power and he, in fact, is more Malay first. Even as Tun Faisal does damage control with copy and pasted post after post. It's wonderful. But yeah, no, like, it is actually such a shock because literally just 3 months ago, One Faisal was telling another Bersatu member, hey, you know what? We're actually a Malay party. You don't agree? You don't know? Read up on our founding principles, damn it. No one can deny that unless the entire party votes and says that we are no longer a Malay party but a multiracial one. Wow. Okay, interesting. I didn't know that was a vote conducted, but I guess this is the crossover that I did not know that I needed, but I get for free. If you don't understand why people are so shook about this, just know that having Muhyiddin say that he's Malaysian first is like hearing PAS say that it wants to celebrate Christmas with you. It's kind of like believing a fox going up to the stage and saying, once I'm elected, I will be vegetarian. But like, does a leopard really change its spots? For those of you who don't know, Muhyiddin, as the chairperson of Perikatan Nasional, is the head of an alliance of Malay nationalist parties. Everybody is just casually going out and then trying to fight as hard as possible for Malay interests. I mean, this guy was literally just going around everywhere with Mahathir day after day, and we all know what Mahathir did just in the last couple of days with his Anak Muda Melayu statement. Beyond this little who's more Malay competition right here, let's be real, right? Like, when Muhyiddin was Prime Minister in 2020 after the Sheraton Move, like, he had the most bloated cabinet in the entirety of history with only 6 non-Malays altogether. Now, you might think to yourself that it sounds dumb to have Muhyiddin come out and say, oh, I am Malaysian first. But you can think of it as a kind of good cop, bad cop type situation. Because remember, you have like Bersatu, Gerakan, PAS and MIPP, which is basically their token Indian people. I'm sorry, sepupus. So technically what can happen is that Bersatu kind of carries the function of a liberal moderate party, while Gerakan tries to shore up the Chinese voice in whatever way it can, while PAS continues on with its racist, fitnah rhetoric. And so then what happens is that Muhyiddin ends up being the so-called good guy, while PAS comes in, corners the non-Muslim, and then you're constantly balancing between these two alternatives, both of which are bad, as Hamza Zainuddin and Muhyiddin laugh somewhere in the corner. genius. Maybe this really is happening though, because like the entire Bersatu is on the verge of death at the moment. I mean, you know about the by-elections in Kuala Kubu Baru, which Bersatu lost horribly.
And yeah, couple other things too.
So like, the election analysts have come up with a whole bunch of different interpretations that, oh, maybe like Bersatu needs to change, it needs to be more inclusive to people so that it can actually get its policies through. Also, I mean like, there was a whole conflict with PAS that was basically trying to overstep its boundaries as always and trying to say that, you know, this Dr. Sam right here, he's super amazing. Your stupid Bersatu can't do half of what we can do right here. We're the largest party in parliament. We will rule. We will rule. You will be back to rule. Which is kind of interesting, but kind of wild. Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, are there really winds of change?
You know, Tan Sri Lim Kit Siang asked when it is that Muhyiddin switched from Malay First to Malaysian First, because that is a pretty big shift, not gonna lie. I mean like, I don't know if like this guy actually is sincere, and like people like Lim Kit Siang, who, by the way, asked that question all of those years ago, finally asked like, are you really Malaysian First right here? And if you are ready, then will you be willing to push for racial unity across the races right here? Which I think is, by the way, a very fair question. If the guy actually believes in his type of rhetoric right here, then it's the necessary quid pro quo, right? To like try to make sure that people actually can get along and everybody will have a space under the Malaysian sun. But if he's not ready to do that, then like I don't think that there's really anything worth discussing. But yeah, I mean like that's your comedy for the day. Whether it's gonna get Muhyiddin out of his Jana Wibawa son-in-law scandal, resolve his woes with PAS and Gerakan, and finally make Bersatu no longer a dead party or not, is a completely separate question altogether. But yeah, honestly this was like a real bombshell. I really didn't expect this. But anyway, yeah, like I thought that was interesting, so yeah, see ya.